First story. My stepdaughter's first birthday is coming up, and my entitled daughters plan to go to a concert with their friends. So I grounded them, canceled their concert, and forced them to decorate their stepsister's party, then punished them again for sulking at the party. Now I've lost everything, and I regret it all. I 51M have two biological daughters, Natalie 17F and Sophie 15F, from my previous marriage, and one stepdaughter, Bella 16F, from my current marriage. I've been remarried for just under a year, and Bella lives with us full-time. Natalie and Sophie split their time between my house and their mums Claire. I'm not going to pretend blending a family with 3 teenage girls is easy. It isn't. There's tension, attitude, competition, and a lot of unspoken resentment that pops up when you least expect it. But overall, things have been stable. Not perfect, just manageable. Bella's 16th birthday is this Saturday. My wife Amanda and I planned a party for her at our house. Nothing over the top, some decorations, food, cake, and a handful of her friends. This is the first birthday she's celebrating since moving in with us full-time, and she's been genuinely excited about it. She's talked about it for weeks. I assumed Natalie and Sophie would be there. Bella has been their stepsister for over a year now, and while they aren't best friends, they've always referred to her as our sister. They eat dinner together, watch TV together, and argue like normal siblings. I didn't think attendance was optional. About 2 weeks ago, I asked Natalie if she had any ideas for a gift for Bella. She looked at me like I just reminded her of a maths test she forgot about. She said, "Oh, I forgot her birthday was coming up." That annoyed me, but I told her to figure something out before Saturday and asked what time she and Sophie planned to be home for the party. That's when Natalie told me she and Sophie weren't planning to be home at all. Apparently, their mum had bought them tickets to a concert happening Saturday night, a band they both like, and they were supposed to go with friends and then stay overnight at their mum's place. The tickets were bought weeks ago. What bothered me wasn't just the concert. It was the fact that no one told me. I told Natalie that wasn't going to work. I said Bella's birthday party had been planned first, and family obligations take priority over social plans. Natalie immediately got defensive. She said the tickets were expensive, that their mum already paid for them, and that they had been looking forward to this for months. She said Bella's party wasn't a big deal, and that she could just celebrate another day. I told her I didn't care about the tickets. I said I would reimburse their mum for the full cost if needed. Money wasn't the issue. The issue was that Bella wanted her sisters there, and it was incredibly rude to skip her birthday for a concert. That's when Natalie said, "Totally rude. She's not really my sister. You chose this family. We didn't." I told her that might be how she feels, but Bella didn't choose this either. And being part of a family means sometimes showing up even when you'd rather be somewhere else. Natalie told me she's almost 18, and I don't get to control her weekends anymore. Sophie didn't say much, but she nodded along and stayed glued to her phone. I told Natalie she could see her mum Sunday or another weekend, but Saturday was non-negotiable. She rolled her eyes and said, "You're seriously ruining our lives over a party." At that point, I grounded both Natalie and Sophie. I took their phones and told them they would be staying home this weekend and helping with party preparations, decorating, cleaning, setup, since they clearly had time to complain, but not enough respect to show up for their sister. That did not go over well. Natalie slammed her bedroom door. Sophie started crying and said it wasn't fair because she didn't even say anything. I told her she still benefited from the plan and didn't object, so she was included. That night, my phone blew up with text from my ex, Claire. She demanded to know why the girls weren't allowed to come over for the concert weekend. I explained the situation and told her I was willing to reimburse the ticket cost. She said I had no right to cancel plans she paid for and accused me of punishing the girls just because I want to play perfect blended family. I told her this wasn't what she was thinking. It was about teaching the girls that commitments matter, and that skipping a sibling's birthday isn't okay. Her response was, "They're old enough to decide where they want to be. You don't get to force them." Meanwhile, the atmosphere in my house turned icy. Natalie refused to speak to me unless absolutely necessary. Sophie followed her lead. Bella noticed immediately. She asked me that night if her sisters were mad at her. I told her no, that they were just upset about missing plans, but I could tell she didn't believe me. She went quiet after that and stopped talking about her party altogether. The next day, I had Natalie and Sophie start helping with decorations. Natalie did everything aggressively. Sophie barely spoke at all. At one point, Natalie said, "Congrats, Dad. You got what you wanted. We're here, happy now. That's where things currently stand. And this is where I'm starting to wonder if I've completely mishandled this, or if I'm just being made out to be the bad guy for expecting my kids to prioritize family over a concert. Natalie's attitude didn't change in the days leading up to the party. If anything, she got colder. She and Sophie barely spoke to Bella, and when they did, it was clipped and awkward. Bella started pulling back. She stopped asking questions about the party. She didn't talk about her outfit or the cake anymore. One night she asked Amanda if maybe they should cancel the party and just go out to dinner instead. She tried to reassure Bella that the girls would come around, that maybe they just needed space. But Bella isn't stupid. She's seen how quickly things change when her stepsisters aren't getting what they want. I've seen it too. This isn't the first time. Last fall, we planned a weekend trip with all 3 girls. I gave everyone a month's notice. The day before we left, Natalie suddenly said she didn't feel like going and asked if she could stay at her mom's. I said no, it was a family trip. She went, sulked the whole time, and made it miserable for everyone else. Sophie followed her lead. And during Christmas, Amanda bought all 3 girls personalized stockings. Bella hung them up excitedly. Natalie said it was cringe and threw hers back in the storage bin. That time, Amanda ended up crying in the bathroom while Bella apologized for it. So yeah, this weekend isn't new behavior. It's just more obvious now. Claire kept texting me the entire week. She said I was damaging my relationship with the girls by forcing them to perform affection for someone they didn't choose to be related to. I told her again that this was not about choosing anyone, it was about being decent and showing up for family, even when it's inconvenient. She said, "You can't teach respect by forcing obedience. All you're doing is making them hate your wife and her kid." Friday night, Natalie asked if there was any chance at all she could still go to the concert if she apologized. I asked her what she was sorry for. She said, "I'm sorry this whole thing became a huge deal and that you're mad." That's not an apology. I told her the decision stood. She and Sophie would be attending Bella's party and helping with setup as we agreed. I said again I'd reimburse Claire for the ticket cost if it was that big of a deal. Natalie just said, "Then I'm not speaking to you until I move out," and went to her room. Saturday party day, Sophie barely came out of her room until I asked her to help set up the food table. She didn't argue, but she wasn't happy. She kept her eyes down, barely speaking. Natalie showed up 15 minutes before the party started, dressed in a hoodie and jeans, hair still damp, no makeup. It was the clearest "I don't care" statement she could make. Bella's friends arrived. Amanda lit the candles. Everyone sang. Natalie and Sophie stood in the back the entire time. No smiles, no effort. Bella blew out the candles and looked like she was about to cry. She pulled me aside and said, "I don't think they even want me here." That was rough to hear from a 16-year-old on her birthday. After the party, Bella went straight to her room and stayed there. Amanda tried to comfort her, but she said she just wanted to be alone. Later that night, I asked Natalie and Sophie if they even realized how much they hurt Bella. Neither of them responded. Natalie just looked at me and said, "Are we ungrounded now?" I said no. "Not yet." She said, "Then I'm done talking." That was it. Amanda hasn't said much directly to the girls. She's trying to stay out of it, but I can see it wearing on her. She started sleeping later, skipping meals. She told me she feels like our family isn't really a family, just 2 sides forced to live together. I asked Bella how she felt the next morning. She said she was grateful we threw her a party, but she wouldn't want another one if it meant dragging the others into it. That comment bothered me more than anything. A 16-year-old shouldn't feel guilty for having a birthday. Now, Claire has started saying she wants to revisit the custody agreement. She's saying Natalie should just live with her full time now and visit me when she feels like it. I haven't agreed to anything, but I can feel control slipping away. I've been accused of being overbearing, too strict, and forcing things to look like a happy family that isn't there. Maybe that's true. But I don't think it's wrong to expect your kids to show up to a sibling's birthday, especially one they live with, and who has done nothing to deserve this. I didn't stop them from seeing their mom forever. I didn't ban concerts. I just said, this weekend, family comes first. Now I've got one daughter who won't talk to me, one who walks on eggshells, and a stepdaughter who feels like she doesn't belong. So Reddit, am I Ada for making my daughters skip a concert and attend their stepsister's birthday instead? Comments. Comment 1. Forcing Natalie and Sophie to play Happy Birthday Crew for a stepsister they forgot the birthday of. That was never going to end well. Bella doesn't need obligatory smiles from people who don't even want to be there. And now she's probably blaming herself for the tension in the house, which sucks, because none of this is her fault. You've only been married a year. A year isn't enough time to expect teenagers to rewire their emotions and treat their step-family like blood, especially when they already have a full support system with their mom and extended maternal relatives. And the concert. That wasn't some random blow-off excuse. Claire got those tickets weeks ago. That's not they're being selfish. That's you not respecting their social life or their mom's plans. All you've done is draw a line in the sand that says, respect this new family or be punished. What you should have done is ask if they could come early, split the day, or at the very least, talk like they're actual people. YTA. Bella deserves love that's given freely. Not this. Comment 2. You're steamrolling every emotion those girls might have had about the divorce, remarriage, and blending. You grabbed phones, forced labor, and blocked them from seeing their mom, then acted shocked when they shut down, forcing them to treat Bella like a full sister, just because you decided she is. That's not how human relationships work, especially not between teen girls who just had their whole world shuffled around last year. And let's talk about Bella, the poor kid's caught in the crossfire. You say this party was about her, but it clearly became about you enforcing family rules. No wonder she asked to cancel. She probably feels like she caused this whole mess. You could have handled this with a conversation. You went with a crackdown. Now Natalie's planning her escape, Sophie's checked out, and you've turned a birthday party into a battleground. You're pushing too hard, and it's going to backfire long term. YTA. Comment 3. I feel for Bella. Seriously. Kids in a new house, trying to bond with two girls who act like she's a stray dog that wandered in. And even after they ice her out, she still wants them at her party. She gave more grace to her stepsisters than they gave to her or you, honestly. Your oldest pulled the "not really my sister" card that SHT stings, and you still tried to keep the peace. Reimbursing the tickets, involving them in the party, everything. You tried every door before you locked them out. That's more than most would do. The real kicker. She didn't even want another party after that. That's how deep this cut is. The people she thought were her sisters made her feel like a effing burden. You're not the arsehole here. Your ex is. Your daughters are acting like spoiled brats. And if you don't keep defending Bella, she's going to stop trusting you, too. Update. The original post is on my profile. Long story short, I told my daughters Natalie 17F and Sophie 15F they had to attend their stepsister Bella's 16F birthday party instead of going to a concert their mum Claire had already bought tickets for. I offered to reimburse the tickets, grounded them when they refused, and made them help with party prep as a consequence. They showed up to the party angry and cold, which ended up hurting Bella badly. Now things have completely fallen apart. I want to say I did what I did out of a place of fairness. I've always tried to treat all three girls equally. Bella might not be my biological daughter, but she lives with us, and I see her as family. But the way this played out has made it really clear that not everyone in this house agrees with me. And now even Bella's starting to question where she stands. Let me walk through what's happened since the party. The day after, Bella barely left her room. She told Amanda, my wife, and her mother, she wasn't hungry and didn't want to talk. I gave her space, assuming it was just emotional exhaustion from the awkwardness of the party. Later that night, Amanda sat me down and told me Bella had overheard Natalie say, "I don't care if she cries, she's not my sister anyway." Bella had gone to grab her phone charger from the living room and walked in on Natalie saying that to Sophie. Amanda said Bella didn't say anything, just froze and left. She cried herself to sleep that night. The next morning, she packed a bag and asked Amanda if she could stay at her grandparents' for a few days. I didn't try to stop her. Amanda drove her over. She's still there now, and she hasn't responded to my texts. I've only heard back through her grandmother, who said Bella needs time to feel wanted again. So that's where Bella's at. As for my daughters, the fallout has gotten worse. About 3 days after the party, Amanda lost her patience and snapped. We were sitting at dinner, and Sophie made some sarcastic remark about the decorations Bella had picked, like, "Oh, thank God that tacky gold crap is gone now." That was it. Amanda stood up and told both girls she was sick of the disrespect. That Bella did nothing to deserve this cold treatment, that they were acting cruel, and if anyone ever treated them that way, I'd have lost my mind. She was right. I would have. She said, "I've tried to stay out of this and let you parent your daughters your way, but you've made it impossible to keep quiet. This house isn't divided, but you two are making it that way." Either act like Bella exists or stop pretending you care about this family. Natalie told her to stop acting like Bella's pain is the center of the universe. Amanda walked out of the kitchen and hasn't eaten a meal with the rest of us since. And now she's even angry at me. She told me she no longer wants Bella brought up in conversations with my daughters because she's not part of their world, and I've made it worse. I told her Bella is my stepdaughter, and she will be part of this family, even if no one else wants to treat her like it. Amanda said, then maybe you should have actually talked to your daughters like human beings, instead of turning the whole thing into a power struggle. She's not wrong. But I still don't think I was wrong to expect basic human decency. And then came the final conversation with Natalie that made everything feel like it's slipping away. I told Natalie I'd changed my mind. She and Sophie could go to the concert after all. I asked only one thing: bring Bella along. Include her not as a sister, but even just as a friend. I said this was her first birthday living with us, and being left out like this was crushing her. Natalie's face changed immediately. She said, "You already ruined everything. My friends won't give an SHT about me now. They already went. No one's coming back. No one will hang out with me again after this." I said, "Then why even keep them as friends? Maybe you should focus on bonding with your family, instead of chasing SHTTY people who disappear the second things get complicated." She stared at me for a while, then said nothing. She walked out and went straight to her room. That silence has continued. She hasn't spoken to me in 4 days. Sophie's barely around. She started going straight to her mum's after school. I called Claire to ask what was going on, and she told me not to expect Sophie back for a while. When I pressed her, she said, "You did this. You made it toxic. To top it all off, I got written up at work. I've been late 3 times in 2 weeks. Once because Amanda and I got into an argument before I left, and I just sat in the car for 30 minutes trying to calm down. Another because I stayed up all night trying to write a message to Bella that I never sent. My boss said I seem distracted, and he's not wrong. So now my house feels fractured. My daughters are gone more than they're here. Amanda is emotionally withdrawing. Bella's not even living under my roof. And I'm one HR warning away from tanking my career over all this. The messed up part is I still believe in the principle. I still think expecting Natalie and Sophie to attend their stepsister's birthday after a year of shared space, shared meals, and shared memories wasn't insane. 1 year is enough time to form a bond. I didn't expect magic, but I expected basic kindness. And I know if someone treated Natalie like that, I wouldn't have stood for it. I'm not saying I handled this well. Maybe I was too forceful. Maybe grounding them and taking phones away only made it worse. But I also tried compromise. I offered them the concert, even after all the drama. I offered them a way to keep their plans and show up for Bella, and they still refused. I wanted to raise daughters who understand what loyalty looks like even when it's inconvenient. What I got instead is a house full of people who think loyalty is optional if it messes with their weekend plans. And worst of all, Bella saw all of this. She saw me try, fail, and then back down, and now even she's resenting me for letting them go in the end. So if anyone's wondering how it's going, this is it. Nobody's talking. Nobody's happy. And the only person who wanted a party in the first place now wants to stay anywhere but here. If you told me 6 months ago that trying to enforce one birthday party would collapse my entire family, I would have laughed. Now I'm wondering if we ever had a real family at all. Comments. Comment 1. Man, the birthday was just the surface. The actual issue underneath is you trying to redefine family by force. I get that you love Bella, and yeah, your daughters were being bratty. But the moment you took the stance of, you will attend, and you will see her as family, you made it a control issue instead of an emotional one. They're not dumb. Teenagers smell emotional manipulation like blood in the water. You tried to backpedal later offering the concert if they brought Bella, but by then they'd already decided it wasn't about Bella. It was about you proving you could make them comply. Amanda's pissed. Bella's gone. Your bio kids resent you. And everyone's tired of being forced into a dynamic they didn't sign up for. 1 year might be long enough for some families to bond, but only if the groundwork is healthy. Yours isn't. And now your pride's bleeding all over the floor. You misread the situation and tripled down when you should have pivoted. And now you're paying for it. Comment 2. You're so focused on being fair to Bella that you've completely underestimated how deep Claire's influence still runs. The way your daughters parrot each other, the way they disappear into her house after every disagreement, dude, that's not a coincidence. She's feeding them a narrative that your new family is fake, and they've bought it. And while you're sitting here trying to teach moral lessons, Claire's off playing chess with a custody dynamic. Now Amanda's pissed at you, Bella's gone, and your ex is basically running your household from another address. Sophie probably doesn't even know what she thinks. She just follows Natalie because Natalie follows Claire. You've got no foothold here because your ex weaponized loyalty before you even noticed. The hard truth is, you tried to run a family on integrity, but your opponent was running it on influence. Guess who wins that war with teenagers? Comment 3. You humiliated her. I know you don't see it that way, but from her perspective, you told her plans were meaningless, grounded her, made her prep a party for someone she doesn't feel close to, then told her she should dump her friends and prioritize a relationship you chose for her. Yeah, she lashed out. Yeah, she was mean. But she's also 17 and trying to figure out who she is, and you made it clear her independence takes a backseat to your image of a blended family. That concert wasn't just an event, it was part of her life. You turned it into a battleground. Now she's withdrawn, Sophie's scattered, and Bella's traumatized. And Amanda, she's grieving a kid she still sees crying in her rearview mirror. You don't get to reset after this by texting apologies. This was a rupture. And if you want to fix it, you've got to stop preaching family and start earning it. Update. It's been several weeks since everything fell apart. And I guess this is the final update because there's nothing left to fix. I'm not sure if people will care to read this anymore. But I started this thread with the intention of being honest, so I'll finish it the same way. I haven't changed my position. I don't think I was wrong to ask my daughters to prioritize family over a concert. I don't believe a 16-year-old's birthday should be treated like an inconvenience. But at this point, it doesn't matter what I think. That ship has sailed. Bella isn't coming back. She sent me a message through Amanda, saying she's staying at her grandparents' house for the foreseeable future. She doesn't want to talk, doesn't want visits, and doesn't want phone calls. She told Amanda she doesn't want to be dragged into any more tension. And I'd rather have no family than one that keeps proving I don't belong. I tried texting her. I tried leaving voicemails. I wrote her a long letter. Nothing. Amanda made it clear this was Bella's decision, not hers, but I don't believe that entirely. Amanda's done too. She still lives here technically, but it's like cohabiting with a ghost. We eat separately. The other night, I asked her if she still saw a future in this marriage. She just said, not like this. She hasn't filed anything yet, but I think she's waiting for the right moment. I've already braced for it. As for my daughters Natalie and Sophie, they're completely gone now. Not just physically, but emotionally, legally, and probably for good. Claire's been working on modifying the custody agreement. At first, I was confident. I thought she wouldn't have anything substantial to present in court beyond, he grounded them once. But I was wrong. Her lawyer built a case around emotional coercion. She gathered journal entries, texts, and even social media posts. Apparently, Natalie had kept a long list of controlling behaviors and events, including one from 2 years ago when I canceled a sleepover because she didn't clean the kitchen, and another where I grounded Sophie for getting caught in a lie. Normal parenting, I thought. They painted it as emotional instability. Then they brought up a first outing with Bella as a family. Amanda and I took the girls out to a hibachi place. Natalie didn't talk the whole night. Sophie looked like she was going to cry. They used that as evidence of a hostile home environment that I was forcing step-family bonding without consent. Claire claimed I'd been pushing Bella as a replacement sibling ever since I remarried. It doesn't matter if it's exaggerated. They had documentation. I didn't. The guardian ad litem assigned to the case has already said the girls are old enough to express clear preference, and their preference is not to live with me. I'm still technically a joint custodian on paper, but everyone knows how this is ending. My lawyer said, unless there's a major shift, I wouldn't expect shared placement to hold. Translation: the ball isn't in my court anymore. Then there's the letter. After everything got quiet, I wrote one final message. Not to apologize, I've done enough of that, but to explain. I sent one email to Natalie, Sophie, and Bella. It was honest. I told them I'd never treated them differently. That I loved all of them equally. That I never wanted fake affection, I just wanted respect. And maybe a little effort. I hit send. Not one reply. It's like I don't exist to them anymore. Claire hasn't asked for child support. That's the only surprise. Maybe she doesn't want the tie. Or maybe she knows she's already won and doesn't feel the need to twist the knife. Either way, I'm not fighting it. I'm not paying, but not because I'm dodging responsibility. I'd gladly pay if it meant they'd still talk to me. But money won't fix this. It's just a clean break. Work was the last thread holding me together. I lost that too. A few weeks ago, I had a minor blow up at the office. Nothing dramatic, just snapped at a coworker who kept making sarcastic jokes about girl dad life. I'd already been showing up late, missing deadlines, and zoning out in meetings. HR gave me a soft exit. We're restructuring and phasing out non-essential roles. I was offered severance and no black mark on my record. I took it. No fight left in me. Amanda suggested therapy. I said yes. It's the only thing left to try. I start next week. So where does that leave me? I'm living in a house with half-empty drawers. The dining room table is set for one. Bella's room is still made, but Amanda took down the photos. The last time I saw Natalie and Sophie was the day after Amanda's blow-up, and they didn't even say goodbye when they left. I haven't seen them since. Every part of this feels final. I'm not looking for sympathy. I made decisions. I enforced rules. I stood by what I believed was right. That family matters, that birthdays matter, that inclusion matters. But maybe I tried too hard to force those things into place, instead of letting them grow naturally. Bella is hurt. Amanda is checked out. My daughters don't want me. Claire's winning custody. I've lost my job. And therapy is now my next scheduled event. Not because I believe it will undo this, but because it's the only thing left that might teach me how to live with it. So that's it. No dramatic reunion. No breakthrough. Just quiet rooms and unread emails. If I could go back, maybe I'd listen more. Maybe I'd back off sooner. Maybe I'd pick my battles more carefully. But I didn't. I held the line. And now I'm standing on it alone. Comments. Comment 1. She held the line as long as she could. She watched her daughter get emotionally shredded, kept quiet while your house turned into a battlefield, and tried to play peacekeeper between your stubbornness and two girls who didn't want to be there in the first place. You ignored every signal she gave. You threw her kid into a pressure cooker, then expected gratitude for it. Amanda should have left sooner, honestly. You didn't just let your daughters burn bridges, you torched the ones between you and your wife while you were at it. Now Bella's gone, Amanda's halfway out, and you're starting therapy when all the damage is already done. You weren't arsehole just blind as hell to the fact that love isn't something you earn by enforcing rules. Comment 2. You were trying to build something meaningful. You wanted connection, respect, and unity. The problem is, you tried to control how it looked, how fast it grew, and who had to care. It's like you planted seeds in concrete, and then got mad they didn't bloom. Natalie and Sophie were never going to love Bella on your schedule. Bella deserved love too, but forcing that dynamic just made everyone feel used. You're not evil, but you were stubborn. You let your ego hijack your empathy. Now you're sitting in the wreckage of a family you tried to fuse like Legos without reading the instructions. At least you're in therapy now. Too late for them maybe, but maybe not too late for you. Comment 3. You didn't lose them because you were wrong about birthdays. You lost them because you kept treating your idea of family as the only valid one. You never gave Natalie or Sophie space to form a bond with Bella. You gave them expectations and punishments. Bella's pain is real, and I don't blame her for leaving. But so is the pain you caused your bio kids by steamrolling how they felt. Every time they resisted, you doubled down harder. You forced them to choose between autonomy and inclusion, and when they chose autonomy, you made it war. Now everyone's gone. And the wild part, you're still framing it as a loss because they didn't meet your expectations, not because maybe you didn't meet theirs. Second story. My entitled mom knowingly supported my abusive ex and told me to get therapy. Now she's invited him to a family dinner, so I've cut her out of my life for choosing my ex over her own daughter. I 38F was in a 2-year relationship with a jealous, narcissistic man who had a young son. During those 2 years, my parents absolutely adored both him and his child. They even took his son during school holidays and treated him like family. When I finally ended the relationship, because his jealousy and control became unbearable, my parents were devastated. I had to explain my reasons in front of my ex, and during that conversation he actually said, in front of my parents, that his jealousy wouldn't have happened if our bed life had been better. Yes, he really said that. My mom, who was extremely attached to his son, insisted on keeping contact and even offered to continue having him during school holidays. I wasn't against it. The kid needed stability and structure, something his dad didn't give him. For info, his kid was an accident, and he never wanted him. Out of pity, I also let my ex stay in the small apartment we co-owned because he was still in an internship and needed time to find a place. Long story short, Things escalated, police involved, and he eventually moved out 3 months later into an apartment with his new girlfriend. Since January 2023, we've had zero contact, thank God. Fast forward to Easter 2023. At the family table, my mom casually tells his son that she'd gladly invite his dad and girlfriend over to the house. I was stunned and hurt and asked, why the hell would she do this? She answered back, it's for the well-being of the kid, to keep things nice. Then December comes. I arrive for Christmas and notice my mom still has photos of my ex displayed. Again, I say nothing. But during dessert, his son asks my dad if he's going to drink the wine his dad gave him as a gift. And my dad replies he'll wait to drink it with him here at the house. That was it for me. I walked away from the table, furious and hurt. My parents followed me to talk. I expressed how devastated I was that they kept prioritizing my ex and dismissing everything their own daughter went through, mentally and physically. My dad realized what he did and apologized, sincerely, immediately. My mom didn't. She told me it was her house, and she had the right to invite whomever she wanted. I told her a family home should be a safe place, and I clearly didn't feel safe anymore. So I left, and I haven't gone back since. In November 2024, she sent me a 2-page letter, no apology, just telling me I should return to therapy. I confronted her in person, and for 25 minutes, she repeated the same thing. I can welcome whoever I love into my home. So I walked away again. At Christmas 2024, her twin sister asked if I was coming. And when I asked if my ex would be there, she said the same thing. It's my house. I'll invite who I want. So I cut contact with her, too. Yes, she also had a good relationship with my ex and his son, too. I only talk to my dad now. We are in 2025, and he keeps saying that I should get over it. And it's not such a big deal. I'm questioning myself. So here I am. Ada forgoing no contact with my mom because she chose my ex over me. Comments. Commenter 1. NTA, I don't blame you at all. And it was inappropriate for your parents to develop that kind of bond with his kid to begin with. You were never married and only together for 2 years. Yet they're treating this child like their own. OP. Yes, my mom is quite frustrated that I am child-free. I've got my tubes tied, and I guess she decided to get a grandchild of her own in another way. Thank you for your answer. It was very helpful. Commenter 2. Inform your parents that by continuing to allow your ex to be a part of their lives, they are dismissing your trauma and agreeing with him abusing you. Family are not always those who are related by blood or share DNA. Family are those people who support, protect, appreciate, respect, and genuinely love you. Your parents are not showing you any of these things. Spend time with people who will. Also tell your dad that he's a horrible protector who would rather have his daughter's abuser in his home and life rather than his traumatized daughter. For your own mental and emotional well-being and your peace, continue to be LC with them and any of the screeching flying family monkeys who think it's okay to have a relationship with your abuser. Sending hugs. Take care. Continue to heal. Have a great life surrounded by people who support and love you. OP. I cried reading your answer and laughed when you mentioned the flying family monkeys. Thank you very much. I am touched by your kindness. To reassure you, I am spending time with friends and my mermaid community and found a new family, my boyfriend's family, who are true loving people. Thank you a lot, D. Commenter 3. Sounds like dad needs to be added to the no contact list as well. NTA. OP. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. As he asked for forgiveness a few years back. I don't feel like cutting him just yet. I guess it's difficult for my dad to be in the middle of both of us, me and his wife, which I understand. But I must agree that recently, I almost did but gave him a last chance. I have set up some boundaries, as I refused to give my new address to avoid unsolicited mail, and told him it was the last time he ever let his wife leave me a message on his personal WhatsApp, or I would block him too. Commenter 4. Your mum suggested therapy. You should counter with family therapy. A therapist would be able to knock some sense into that woman. Her priority is her own family, and she's choosing a man who abused you and uses his child as an excuse. She's choosing his child over her own. She doesn't realize that the son may grow up and leave with no biological ties to them. But you're in their life forever unless you go and see. What she's doing is emotional and mental abuse to you, and she doesn't even realize it. If she won't go to family therapy, I suggest you draft a letter with a therapist and give it to your mum. Explain you did what she counseled, and this is the response you and your therapist have come up with. See what she does with that. Would she do this if he had saw you? What he did violated you. but not in a sexual way. It's still painful, and she's choosing to allow the offender into what should be a safe space for you. This isn't normal behavior at all, and I'm glad you're not letting it go. Continue to advocate for yourself. As far as your dad is concerned, explain that mental and emotional assault like rope is not something you just get over. It's trauma, and they aren't allowing you to heal by repeatedly trying to put the offender in your safe circle. OP, thank you very much. We did go to family therapy many years ago, but it was specially for the relationship between my brother and father. I always felt like I didn't belong in the session group, as everything was mostly turning around them both. I wonder if she would accept going through family therapy again, this time with me and her in the center of attention. But it is worth a try. Thank you. Commenter 5. NTA, your mum tossed you to the curb without care and isn't bothered one bit. That's until you have a child, and then she'll come back begging for forgiveness and saying that she made a mistake. No, she made a choice and made the wrong one. OP, I guess if she tossed me, it was also because of the frustration of not having grandchildren and making me pay for the fact that I tied my tubes to avoid having kids. I will not be waiting for her forgiveness. I turned that page a long time ago. Thank you for your insight. Update. This morning I woke up to tons of comments, and I'm still reading through them. Thank you all for your help and insights. I really appreciate it. I had already talked to my friends and have the support of one of my cousins, but you never really know if they're being fully honest with you or just supporting you because they care. So getting perspectives from people out of my circle helped me realize that this situation is really toxic, and that I'm right to protect myself. This also gives me the opportunity of collecting data, because my dad 67 keeps insisting that the family should get back together and have dinner. He told me that my mum 61 didn't appreciate being told what to do in her own home and still can't understand why I'm distant. I told him that she probably has Alzheimer's or is not willing to look herself in the mirror, that I needed to remind him that she made her choice when she chose my ex over me, and that everyone around me also finds her behavior not good. Recently, he told me that family and friends don't understand my own behavior towards them. I told him that if he refuses to understand, I'll just go public with the story and let people judge for themselves. Like I said, I don't know if it will bring a light up, but it's always good to try. Some suggested family therapy, while others said it wouldn't help. I'm still thinking about it. 15 years ago, we did therapy for issues between my dad and brother, but I felt completely left out because everything revolved around them. Maybe therapy could help with confrontation, or maybe it's better to go fully no contact and protect my peace. I still have to decide. But this event happened a few months ago. I was diagnosed with ADHD. I cried with relief, but also felt anger. My brother was diagnosed early and got all the support he needed. Meanwhile, when I struggled in school, I was called lazy. Later, at 21, I was diagnosed with dyslexia, which proved my mum wrong after years of dismissing me. When she learned recently through my dad about my ADHD diagnosis, she took my dad's phone and left a message in our private conversation saying it was not new, that I had been tested at 6, and that I shouldn't make such a fuss. I was furious and felt betrayed. My brother got support, and I felt that I got neglected. That was the last straw. Any remaining trust shattered. So, I really wonder if family therapy could repair this. I've started setting boundaries. I refuse to give them my new address to avoid unsolicited visits or mail, and I'm protecting my peace as much as possible. Some of you said that if my dad tells me to get over it, it means he's siding with my mum. I'm still not sure and wondering. I think he's trying to avoid conflict more than anything. He has his own way of thinking and seems to struggle to see the full picture. Part of me wonders if I'm making excuses because it's hard to cut ties with someone who apologized and validated my feelings. But also, I feel that he was never diagnosed either. To clarify more details, according to my dad, my ex never came to their house. The problem is, I don't know if I can trust him. I don't know if he's saying this to convince me to come back, or if it's actually true. It still doesn't mean they didn't invite him. I'm child-free and had my tubes tied a long time ago. I love kids, I work with them, and I accepted my ex's child with open arms. But my mom always wanted to be a grandma. I always said my brother would have kids, but not me. So as many of you pointed out, she's fulfilling her grandma dream with my ex's child. And she also seems to have a savior complex, trying to save the child from his home. She knew about my ex's violent behavior. I told her and even showed her physical evidence. The fist mark in the bed frame, the hole he kicked in the door, and proof of his anger management. About my ex's new girlfriend and his child. I heard he didn't let her get too close. My interpretation is that he wanted to make sure the holidays stayed his, keeping the child with my parents and preventing a bond with the new girlfriend. To this day, the child still spends school holidays with my parents. A few months ago, I confronted my dad about something else. Another woman contacted me because she was dating my ex a few months back and felt that something was off. She found my contact info through social media. To avoid responsibility and be authentic as usual, my ex told her he was struggling emotionally because his mother had recently died. I still have access to her social media, and she is posting. It was just another manipulative lie. My dad doubted the story until I showed him the messages. I don't know if he ever told my mom. It took me 2.5 years to reconstruct myself after this bad relationship, and I have found a new family, with a real man who is caring, loving, and protective, with whom I treat with respect and trustworthiness. I felt like every time I tried to set boundaries, I was made to feel like I was the problem. But reading everyone's comments has helped me see that my feelings are valid, and that stepping back doesn't make me a bad person. Thank you for everything. I will make an update if anything changes. Take care, all of you, and again, gratitude to all. Comments. Commenter 1. Protect your peace and stay low contact with your dad. Maybe no contact with your mother. Mummy Dearest sounds like she has some strong traits of narcissism, so she will be difficult to deal with. She probably sees your setting boundaries as your defiance and the undermining of her control. There's a good book that might be insightful for you. Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. That book taught me a lot about my narc mother and how we were destined to never have a healthy relationship. I hope it helps you. Go gently. OP, thank you for suggesting this book. Going to order it. Commenter 2, info. You said your ex didn't even want the kid. Where is the mother? BC if she is alive. She is fine with her son being with a couple of old dudes when he has to be with his father. Also, about your dad. He can tell his wife to get over it and stop inviting an abuser home. OP, I don't know what she became today, but in the past, the mum spent time being on the couch and scrolling on social media. She seemed to also like when her son got to go away and do some activities. Because my parents offered a lot horse riding, beach, etc., and also time, and she couldn't offer it at all. Commenter 3. Does your relationship with your parents bring anything of value? Any good emotions or support? OP, that is a very good question. I must take time to think about it. Commenter 4. This is a real mess. I hope in the future you do not live with someone you are not married to. It was terribly unfair, especially to the child, to bring a man you knew was controlling and abusive into your family circle. It was kind of unrealistic to just expect your parents to drop the kid. But they have to set boundaries with you in mind. Good luck. OP, I didn't expect my parents to drop the kid. I was okay with it. What I needed was for them to respect me enough to not invite the dad at home. Commenter 5. Good for you that you gave them a happy life without them. However, why is everything your mother's fault, and your dad gets off almost excused? He is right there with all the information, even more than your mum from your side, it seems, and he was there too when you grew up with learning problems, etc. Isn't he as guilty as her? Or is he excused because he didn't care at all? What has he done lately to fix anything? Is he mentally disabled perhaps? That's the only reason he'd not be as responsible as your mum. OP, I think I excuse my dad more than my mum, for the reason that my dad was a hard worker and was not at home much. He also had an old Swiss German way of thinking, which is, try harder. Just shut up and work. There is no such thing as therapy. It is only for crazy people. My dad also lives in a kind of bubble, dreamland, and it would not surprise me that he forgot about the diagnosis, or that he wanted to forget about it. Childhood was a bit messy, but my dad did evolve and became more open-minded through the years, and showed me some kind of support in his own way. Commenter 6. Your update reads like your mother always did put others first instead of you. It sounds like a pattern, and it sounds like your dad is an enabler. She even intervened in your conversation with him. Are you sure he is trustworthy? Because it doesn't sound like that from your posting. OP indeed. The day my mom got to his phone made me question it. He deceived me as a dad and as a man that day. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.